with that, let me just kickstart today's session. Well, my name is Jigar Shah, and I'm happy to be back again hosting day 3 of the Dev Apex Hours training. Uh, we've covered 2 days of Apex, and that was quite a bit. Today we have an exciting session and a new speaker who's going to be talking about tools for development and debugging and how we can really use them in Apex. So, and before we begin the session, a big thank you to everyone who's joined in. I know there are a lot of people who've joined in across different countries, different time zones, people waking up at like 4 in the morning to join this session. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all your enthusiasm. We will ensure that we stay true to your expectations. So thank you. And without any further ado, I would hand over the control to Purushottam, who is going to be the captain of the ship today, and who's going to be talking and enlightening us with some new concepts here. So Purushottam, over to you.
Thank you, Jigar. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Good morning and good evening, based on your time zone. So let me introduce myself. So I am Purushottam Baigade. I am a technical evangelist working in Internet Solution. I'm a leader of the Pune Salesforce Developer Group. I am also a co-organizer of the Pune Salesforce Architect Summit, and I have been a speaker into multiple community-led events like the India Dream in Hyderabad, Trailhead, Apexa, and the Pune DUG. I also do the blogging on the forcefield.dev, and you can find me on a Twitter and LinkedIn as well. My Twitter handler is Baigade Puru, Bhaigade Puru, and my LinkedIn is the Purushottam Baigade. Okay. So with this, we'll start with today's session about the different tools which we can use for Apex debugging and development. So some of the housekeeping rules Jigar already mentioned. So we'll get started. So this is today's agenda, what we are going to cover in our today's session. So today we are going to see all the tools available for the development. Then we are going to see what is the debugging, and we are going to deep dive into debugging. Okay, so very first thing. So as you know, we are last couple of sessions you see the Jigar is showing us a couple of demo and doing a couple of things. You guys already doing a couple of assignments as well. But if the people are new, very first time onto the session, let me tell you, very first thing you need to do is sign up yourself for the developer edition, or okay, where you can go and dirty your hands with the code. What are the things you're learning through these sessions, you can try out on this form. Okay. Then the very first tool, so you can already show us in previous sessions, there are the couple of tools. So the first tool is the developer console, uh, which help us to write a classes, triggers, executing some SQL queries. We are going to saw that in a demo, but there are a few things I would like to that you should know about this. So developer console is a free tool available with every Salesforce org. It is available with the enterprise performance unlimited developer and database editions. So these are all different edition uh, available by the Salesforce. What things we can do with the developer console? We can debugging and troubleshooting. We can editing or navigating to source code. We can testing and validating a performance of your application or your code. Simultaneously, we can executing the queries. Those are the SQL queries and SSL queries. Yes, we are going to have the detailed session about this SQL and SSL session. And of course, when you say there is a developer console and you need to execute some Apex code, you need a certain permissions which are listed over here. So let's go and see what exactly the developer console and what things we can perform with the developer console. Let me switch back to my Salesforce instance. So here is my Salesforce instance, and you can find the developer console from the right side of your gear set. And here is the link called the developer console. Click on that link. It will open the developer console for you. It is a browser-based tool. Okay. Okay, the tool is loaded. So here is a menu bar which is having a several options which we can see what things we can do. Okay, here is your workspace, the white space in bit after the menu bar, and there are some tabs you are seeing at the bottom of the screen for the log, test, and checkpoints. So so logs are basically whatever the logs are getting generated after execution of your code. You are able to see it from here. The tests are typical. The test class, when you run any test class, it will show you how the test is running. Is it successful or failure? On the right hand side, you can see the code coverage of your test. There are certain checkpoints which you can put in your code. There is a query editor where you can write the code. Here is a view state. Okay, the view state, we are going to see this in a detail when we are going through the Visual Force session. And there are progress and there is a problem. If there is error occur, you are able to see that error here. Then on the topmost side, there is a menu bar which contains new, where you can it provides a multiple option where you can go ahead and create a new class, Apex trigger, Visual Force pages, component, resource, and lighting components. There is a open section. If you click on open, you can see all the existing component present from your organization. uh, you can see the classes, which are the classes available over there. You can see the triggers, pages, component, and objects too. So if I wanted to open any of the class from my existing app, I can simply click on a classes. In the middle tab, I can see the list of all the classes. Either I can select any class over here, or if I wanted to filter that class with the name, I can simply type the name over here. Okay. So let's say I want to open the Google API class. I can simply double click on this and the class is open. This particular section will show you the code coverage. The code coverage you are able to see once only when you're going to write a test class for this particular class. Again, we are going to have another detailed session on the test, how to write a unit test for the classes. Okay, here is the API version. So each class on a Salesforce is having a API version. So you can select the API version on which your class is supposed to run. Okay. So let's go ahead and create a sample Apex class. Okay. Let me go to the new, click on Apex. Okay. It will pop up a name for entering your Apex class name. So let's say the name of the class is printer. Okay. Click on OK. It will create a basic skeleton of a class for you with the debug printer, right? As you know, in Java, we are having a main method from where the execution of a class is started. Here we don't have the main method, but we can write a method directly over here in the class. So if I go ahead and write one sample method, so what I can do, simply write public static, let's say static method to print. Okay, I open the curly brace. This is the skeleton of my method, right? And as is yesterday, you saw how we can write a debug method, debug statements. System dot. So whenever you click on a dot, it will autocomplete and show you all the available methods from this particular class, right? So let's say debug. Okay. Hello everyone. Okay. Let me put the return type for the method. Okay, it's a void. And just click on save. Let's see. Yep, a method is the same. Now the next point is to go ahead and execute this method. So how we can execute the method from a developer console? So there is something called the execute anonymous. Okay, let me open that execute anonymous. Okay, here is a window. You can also go with the shortcut of Control E. it will open execute anonymous window for me. Okay. So I wanted to call a do print method from a debug printer class, right? So let me put the class name dot do print, right? Because it's a static method, so I don't need to create the instance of this class. I can simply call the class dot the method name and click on execute. So it will execute your Apex code, right? And then it will open a debug logs for you. And here is the hello world which we have printed. We will go further. We'll go in a detail how we put the logs and how we execute the log. Okay. So this is a developer console which we use for the writing a new class. So if I wanted to execute any query and see what is the data over there in that particular object, what I can do, there is a tab called the query editor at the bottom of the screen, right? Here I can simply write select ID name from account limit with 10. Okay, this is my simple SQL query. It's pretty similar to uh, the SQL query, SQL queries which we used to, or MySQL queries which we used to write in other languages. So simply click on execute and it will fetch the data for you. And here you can see the query result on the screen where we have written the ID and the name. Also, you can use the same developer console to update the particular record of the, okay. So let's say I wanted to update the name of the HDFC food. I can go ahead and put the name test simply and click on save rows. It will update the record for you. Okay. If you go ahead and execute the same query, we're able to see the updated result over here. If I wanted to delete any record, I can simply select a particular record and delete a row. It will delete a row for me, right? You can refresh the grid, you will see the other updated data over here, right? So this is how we can use the developer console for the all different operations. There are the more operations like the executing a test, running a new test, which we are going to see in upcoming sessions, how to use these options. Okay, so this is about the developer console, and we saw how we can use it for the querying or creating a new class, right? Let's go and see there is another tool called the workbench, which help us to execute or perform the operation, the similar operation which we can perform through developer console, we can do from the workbench as well. So workbench is a web-based suite of the tool. It includes the robust support for the force.com, bulk API, REST API, metadata API, Apex API. So Salesforce provides different type of APIs. So Workbench support all these API. It allows users to describe or query or migrate the data or metadata, right? So let's go ahead directly log into the Workbench and see how we can utilize the Workbench for the querying the record. Okay. So let me go back to my browser. Okay. So there is a browser URL called workbench.developerforce.com. Okay. Once you click on that URL, you are able to see this screen, which allows you to select the production or sandbox environment. Okay. So basically, what is a production and sandbox environment? So Salesforce provides a two type of environments. One is a production where your actual data is there, and there is another called as a sandbox, which is a copy of your production. Again, the sandbox consists of three different layers. The full copy sandbox, which is the exact copy of your production of which where it copies the data and your configuration from your own. It has the partial copy, which is having selected data and all the configuration from your production. And if you go for the developer sandbox, it having all the configuration from your production but no data, right? So in this case, I'm going to select the project. By the way, all the user who log in with the developer edition, their environment is a production environment. So I'm going to select the production environment. I'm going to select the API version, let's say 44. Click on checkbox to agree the terms and services, and there is a button called a login with the Salesforce. Once you hit, it actually asks you for the OAuth authentication, which tells you, okay, the workbench is going to access the basic information of your Salesforce in order to execute the particular APIs, right? Click on allow. Now you are into the workbench. Okay, here you can see the few tabs. Here are the certain settings. There are the certain settings which help you to define which API you wanted to do. There is certain information which help me to describe any of the object, what are the fields on that object. So if I go ahead and select the account, so if I go to the information, there are the options for the standard custom object, session information, right? If I wanted to go and check what all the fields are present in my account object, what I can do, I can click on a standard and custom object. Okay, I can go ahead and I can select the account, right? It will show me all the result for that. There is a folder tree structure called as the fields. If you click on a field, you are able to see all the fields related to that object, right? There is a child relation. If you click on that, you will show all the child relation associated with the account, right? Similarly, there is a tab called as the queries, which allows you to execute queries on your Salesforce. Okay, so let's go and see and try to execute the same query which we executed on a developer console, right? So click on queries, click on SQL query, right? It gives the option to select any object, right? So whenever you select the object, you can see all the fields associated with that object over here. Um, there is an option in which you wanted to view the data. If you wanted to view in a list format or a matrix, or you wanted to download the data in a bulk CSV or a bulk XML, you can select the appropriate option, right? You can select the, if you wanted to sort this data with a certain field or what. So let's go ahead and see how we can fetch the data using the account object. So let's, very first thing, we are going to select the account, right? It's a pretty point and click tool. You can simply either select the fields one by one by clicking on a control and click, or you can simply write the query into the query box. So let's go ahead and select ID and name field. So here I select the ID. You can see the query has been formed with the ID. If I select another field, it will directly replace that field. But if you wanted to select the multiple field, simply click on the first field and then click on another field by pressing the control button. Okay, let's go ahead and select name field as well. Control and click. So you can see now the query has been formed with select the ID and name from account. Okay, if I wanted to sort it by name, I will go ahead and select the name column over here. It is A to Z means ascending, Z to A means descending. Okay, I select the ascending max record. I'm saying I wanted to have the top 10 records. Okay, if I wanted to filter a record with the name, okay, name should not. So I can use the operators like where the name is equal to particular name, or name is not equal to null, or anything like this. Okay. Okay, here we have construct the query. Now go ahead and try to execute it and see the result. So the current option we have selected as a list view. Simply click on a query. It will show you the result in a tabular format in a list view. If I wanted to see this result in a matrix, I can select the matrix, click on a query. Yeah. If I wanted to execute this bulk CSV, simply select the bulk CSV and it will show you the data result to download. Here are the 10 records which has been processed, right? And here is a download symbol which help you to download this result. So simply click on this. It will download your data in local machine. If I click on this is a query, right? And if you wanted to download the result, click on this download and it has downloaded the CSV for you. So you can download your query which you have executed, and you can download the result of the query in a CSV format, right? So, okay, the CSV is opening. Yep, here is your result, right? It's the same result which we got. Now you can do all the operation on your Excel sheet and see the data over here as well. Okay, let's go ahead and see how I can execute the Apex over here, right? So similarly, I have how we see the execute anonymous in a developer console. So there is an option in Workbench called as Apex Execute, which help you to execute any Apex code over here. So let's say if I go ahead and simply type system debug, hello everyone, and let me click on execute to see the result. Right, so you can see the logo here, and here is your actual result. Hello everyone, right? Similarly, it has a REST Explorer as well. If you are an API developer, you using a API Explorer, you can hit the Salesforce API and get the data from it. Right. So this is all about the workbench. Let's go back to my presentation. Okay. So we have seen a developer console. We have seen the workbench, how we can utilize both of the things. These are the two key things for any admin or a developer to, if you wanted to get some data or you wanted to check some debug logs, these are the two key important things, or key important tool rather. Okay. So what is the next tool? So we have seen these two things. Then there is the next tool is called as the VS Code. So VS Code is nothing but a Visual Studio Code. Okay. It is an IDE with Salesforce extension where you can download the Salesforce extension and you can start using this VS Code IDE on your local machine. So first two tools were the web-based tools, and now there is another tool which is uh, local tool. On local machine, you can download this tool, you can install this tool, and you can start the development. So there is a key difference between these two tools, right? The web-based tool, when you are working in an environment where multiple developers are working together, that it always prefer to use a local tool like a VS Code, which helps you to collaborate in a better way, and uh, also it provides the source control tool inbuilt into it, which is not available on a web-based tool. So there is a code revision system like a Git or SVN. You should go with the VS Code. You can configure those GitHub repo with your local system, and you can start writing into it. But before we moving to VS Code and how to install it, there are the certain prerequisites that we need to do. So the JDK8 must be installed on your machine, right? Uh, there is a Salesforce CLI tool that you need to install on your local machine, and then you can go ahead and install the Visual Studio Code. And after installing the Visual Studio Code, you can go ahead and install the Salesforce extension for the Visual Studio Code, right? Um, Due to the time limit, I'm not going to show you how to install this thing, but I have provided the link of the installation with this PPT. You should be able to get those after this session. So let's go ahead and see what exactly the VS Code and how it will help us. So let me switch back to my VS Code. Okay, so here is the VS Code tool, right? So this is the welcome screen. So VS Code tool will, on the top you can see the menu bar, all the available operations which you can perform with the VS Code. So VS Code tool is not just a Salesforce tool. You can use it for the Java, you can use it for the .NET, you can use for the JavaScript development as well. So it's just an IDE for the Salesforce. We installed a Salesforce extension, and then we can write Apex code using VS Code as well. Okay. On the left hand side, you can see the certain menu. It's called Explorer, which shows the which current folder you have opened. The search option allow you to search the things in your file. This is the option called the source control, which allows you to connect with your GitHub repo or a Git repo, GitLab or anything. There is a debug. If you have set up a debugger, you can actually go ahead and debug your things over here. And the most important part over here is the extension. So as I mentioned, once you install the VS Code, you cannot directly write the Apex code, right? Once you install the VS Code, you need to go ahead and install the Salesforce extension. So click on extension. Here you can see all the extensions available in the marketplace. Go for Salesforce extension, and right, click on this. So extension is already installed in my my machine, so it is allowing me the configure option. Otherwise, it will show you the install option. Right. So this is install. This is the extension provided by the Salesforce. You can see on the top of that the Salesforce has provided this extension. Here you can see the certain things how we can use the extension. There are the certain steps provided by them. There is a document. The prerequisite is mentioned over here. Right, you can simply go ahead and click on install. It will install the extension for you on your machine. Okay, let me go back. So now we have seen how we can. So let's assume that we have installed the Visual Studio Code. We have installed all the necessary extension and the packages required, and let's go ahead now and start writing a code. Right, you all are excited for it, right? Okay, so very first thing in VS in developer console, we simply go ahead and create a new class and we start writing a code, right? VS Code things are a little different. So very first thing you need to do, first you need to create the project, okay? Then you need to connect your Salesforce org with that project, and then you can go ahead and create class and do the further development. So let's go ahead, very first thing to create the project. So as I mentioned, there are the certain commands come up with when you install the Salesforce extension. So in order to create a project or connect the Salesforce up, you need to have the Salesforce extension to be installed on your VS Code. So there are a certain command palette which helps you to execute the commands. There is a shortcut as well, Control Shift P. If you click on this, it will show you the list of the all available commands. Let's say SFDS. If you type the SFDS, it will show you all the list of the available SFDS command. Okay. So creating the project. So very first step, right? So you will go ahead and select the option, create a project with a manifest. Select this option, hit the enter. So you can see the extension is activating, is doing further processing. It will ask few questions to you before it create the project. Okay, let me do it again. Okay, so here he's asking me first enter the name of your project. So let me put Apexar Dev Pro. Click on this. It will ask me where you wanted to put your code repo on your local machine, right? So I have choose the folder as Apexar. Okay, where I'm going to put this new project. So I can simply select the Apexar and click on create project. So you can see over here on machine, it started a creating project for you. So the CLI commands are running behind the scene to create the folder structure for you. So we have to wait for a couple of minutes to get it ready. Great. So our folder structure has been created. The project has been created successfully, right? On the left hand side, you can see there is a folder called the Apexar Dev program. There are certain folders it has created. There are certain files you are seeing. We'll go one by one. So there is a git ignore file. So if you have connected your source control with this, where you can mention all the files which you wanted to ignore from committing. There are the script folder. We'll come to that later. Uh, there is a manifest file. It is called as a package.xml. So this is a main file when you are working with any external IDE. So package.xml tells IDE what kind of component I want to retrieve from a Salesforce org on a local machine, right? So here are the certain the members in star means for all the members of Apex class. So I'm telling IDE that I wanted to download all the Apex class from my Salesforce organization. Then there is a force app folder. So basis on this XML package.xml, it creates a certain folder structure over here, which holding the data, relevant data. So classes folder will hold the classes, all the classes, whereas the object will hold all the objects from your the trigger will hold all the triggers. So right now you're not able to see all these four files because uh, because we haven't retrieved anything from the Salesforce. We haven't connected our Salesforce log with this. This is just a raw folder structure created by extension. So very next thing, as I mentioned, we need to go ahead and create or rather I will say connect our Salesforce log with this folder structure. So again, to do this, again we go for the command palette. Uh, Control Shift P, it will open some command, and there is a command you can see authorize an OR, right? So just click on this. Again, similarly, it asks when we are logged into the workbench, right? What kind of URL you are trying to log in? Is it a production instance or it's a sandbox instance? So production instance started with the login.salesforce.com. All your developer instances fall under this category, and the sandbox instance are started with test.salesforce.com. For this, I'm going to click on a production. It will create, it will ask me alias if I wanted to put. So let me put a base day session. Click on enter. Now it will start running to authorize my org. Okay, great. So it opens the browser. It allows you to go ahead and log in into the system with the credentials. So I have my credentials over here. Okay, go ahead, click on a login. Hopefully I have entered the correct credential. Yep. Again, the similar allow access which asks for the workbench, it will ask for here as well. So simply you have to click on allow. Great. So once you allow this, it will redirect to Salesforce home tab. Once that is successful, just go back and see what message it's showing us on. Yep. On your VsCode, it is showing that you're successfully authorized with the Salesforce, right? So now I have connected with my Salesforce, but do I have fetched all the data? No, not yet. So how I go ahead and fetching all the classes which are there, all the configuration which are there on my Salesforce over here on my VsCode, right? So there is a manifest, right? Package.xml. Open that file, right click on this, and there is an option you can see SFDS retrieve source in a namespace from all. Just click on that. It will start retrieving all the configuration you have mentioned over here on your local machine. Let's wait for a couple of more minutes so that it will retrieve all the information from your org. Yep. Okay. Now here's a successful message. You can see classes folder have all the classes from RR, right? So there was a Google API class which was there. We have saw into developer console. You can see over here, right? There are the triggers, tabs, objects, correct? If there are LWC components, so you can see all the things over here. So before we go ahead and sorry for that. Before we go ahead and create a new class, let me show you how we can go ahead and create a class. Again, to create any class, again we go to the command palette and we click the another command to create a new class. So again, the same command, Control Shift P, it will open the command palette for me. So when I type the create, it will show me all the commands available here, and there is a command called sfdx create apex class. Click on this. It will ask you to enter the name of the class which you want to. For this, I have put my debug printer. Click on this. I can see I'm going to select in which folder you wanted to have this file. So it should be there in a classes because it's my class file. Click on enter. It start creating a apex class for you. So behind the scene, it is executing some APIs, passing some information to Salesforce, and then as a result, it will show you the class has been created, right? I will go ahead and again, I'm going to write another method called as public, right? You can see the autocomplete over here. Static void do print. This is the method, the similar method which we had created over there. System.debug. Okay, so it auto completes the code for me. So this is the beauty of the IDE. Then simply I go ahead, class using code, right? I click on save, but the file is had saved only locally. But in order to save this class on Salesforce, what I need to do? Simply right click on this class, and there is a command called as the deploy this source to all. Just click on this. It will start deploying your entire code base to Salesforce class or Salesforce org. If you face any issue, if there is any runtime exception, the deployment will be failed. But there is no error, and we have successfully deployed this class on to Salesforce org. So let's go ahead and see if I have that class on my Salesforce org. Where I can see, again, I will go to developer console, right? Click on open. I can see the list of the classes available here. Okay, let me refresh this. As this is a browser base, I need to refresh it. Great. Click on open my debugger. Here we can see the newly built class in a VsCode is available over here in developer console in your Salesforce, right? So VsCode is not only available to just write a class or execute. You can actually write a queries and execute from the VsCode only. How to do that? So there is one folder which I told you, we'll come to that later. There is a folder called as script, right? So there is you can create a different SQL files which you wanted to execute. So just like here, I have created the file called as, it's a default file called as account SQL. What I can do, I can select this query, right? So here is an option called execute the SQL query with currently selected text, right? If I click on this, and it will ask me the option, which option you wanted to go. If I select the REST API, it will go ahead and start executing the query from your VS Code to Salesforce and going to show you data over here in output console. As it's API, it will take some time to execute this on Salesforce. Yep, it's successful. Here you can see all the data which is retrieved from the org, right? Sorry for that. Yeah. So here's a command, it run internally, it execute this query and it retrieve the data, the ID and name. Correct. And at the end of this, it's showing how many records it has retrieved. Similarly, we can execute an Apex code over there as well. So how to execute the Apex code? The same thing. So there is a sample code which is saying enter your name. So let me enter my name is Pushottam, and I'm expecting the output as a hello world, and it should print as hello world. My name is Pushottam. Okay, I'm going to select this entire text because I wanted to execute it and see the result. I'm going to open the command palette, and similar like the SQL, there is a command called execute anonymous apex with currently selected text. Click on this. It will start execute this code on a Salesforce log, and then respond it will show the result in output panel. It's successfully run, and our output panel should have the response over here. Yep, there is a response. Look at here. Hello world, my name is Pushottam. Right. So this is how we can use the VS Code for the multiple operations. So when you install the VS Code, you don't need to switch back and forth from your Salesforce app to the VS Code. You can simply do all the things over here from the commands. Okay. So let me switch back to my presentation. Okay. So we have seen till now all the three tools which help us to build the classes or do certain operation. But the next question is how I'm going to debug it, how I'm going to see if there is any error, how I'm going to see if there is a runtime error is occurring, how I'm going to see the benchmark of my code, right? So this is exactly what we call as a debugging. So debugging helping you to identify error, to identify the error location, similar like to on which line number this error is occurring. It helps you to provide the resolution. It helps you for the impact analysis, and it helps you to benchmarking the code, right? So today your code is running perfectly fine for the 10 records, but what if that number is changed to exponential to a million records, right? Do your code will run similar way? So that's something the debugging can help you to identify that. So what is the debugging? So what tools Salesforce provide for the debugging? So there is a tool called the debug log. So debug log is nothing but a file which help you to show the output of your entire execution. Okay, so on the screen you are seeing two version of it. So one version, it's the same file, one which you can directly go ahead and open from the setup and debug log, which we are going to see right now. And then there is another which you can simply check from developer console. So debug log actually helps you to track the event, all the events happening behind the scene during any execution. It contains the information like is there any database changes you had done, is there any HTTP call out you're doing, is there any Apex error, resources used by the Apex, and automated workflow processes, right? So debug logs are there, but there are a certain logging levels which help you to refine your logs, right? So there are the certain logging levels like the error, warning, info, debug, find, finer, and finest. So each are having a different use case. So whenever I put the statement log system.debug, it simply comes under the debug. But if I say system.debug and the first parameter I provide as a logging level as an info, and then I put my debug statement, that particular statement fall under info category. We can set this debug log using a point and click tool. We are going to see this in a demo, how to set up the different debug log. So let's go ahead and so before we go and see the demo, there is a certain thing which we need to check. What exactly debug log help me to understand, right? So let's go ahead and decode our debug log. So if you have seen while executing a certain code, there was a few debug log has been generated. There was a certain line, the similar line which you're showing in front of the screen, right? So if we divide this line into the two top level things, the first part, the numeric part, it is the timestamp, and the second part is the event identifier. Let's go ahead and break each of the things over here. So timestamp. Timestamp again divided into two things. One is the timestamp. What is the time when your code has been run? In parenthesis, you are seeing the same value in nanoseconds. Okay. In event identifier, the first block, that is the user debug, it is showing you what is it? It's a user debug or it's a system debug. Then there is another number showing as the 2, which is nothing but the line number. Okay, where this particular statement executing the line number from your code. Then there another keyword called as a debug, which telling us what is the type of debug label we have set up, whether it's an info, it's a debug, or it's fine, or it's a warning, right? Basis on that, that particular text will be get changed. And then your actual debug statement, the hello world. This is how your entire debug statement has been divided, and it will help you to identify your errors. It will help you to identify your locations. Similarly, over here, it's line number 2. It will help you to identify the timestamp when exactly this error has been occurred, right? So let's go ahead and see the demo about how we can set up a debug log along with the logging label and see the debug logs from the developer console and directly from the Salesforce. So let me go back to my Salesforce again. Okay, over here we are having again. So these are the configurations things. So we need to go to the setup. Okay. Okay. So once the setup is loaded, on the left hand side menu, you see all the setup option available for you. Quick find box, simply put a debug, right? So here you can see there is an option called as a debug logs. Click on this. Okay. So on the right hand side, it opens it all available debug logs for you, correct? So let delete few logs. Okay. So how I can go ahead and set up a debug log, right? So debug log not every time set up. So we generally set up a debug log when we wanted to debug any particular code or any particular operation, right? So similarly, we go here, click on a new, it will open a screen which allow us to set up a debug log. It asks you few information to put in. So similarly, as I mentioned, the trace entity, whether you wanted to debug for particular class or particular trigger or for the context of the user or the automated process which is running behind the scene, right? So here I'm going to select at the user. The trace entity name. Here I need to select the which user I wanted to go for it. So this is my current user, FXR speaker. I have selected this user. Here is the next entity which asking me for the start date. So from when to what time this debug log should be activated. So let me select the current time as 6:51 p.m. right, and the expiration date should be the 13th, the same time, right? And now it asking me to select the existing login level if I set any, or I can simply click on a new debugging login level and create the new login level for this particular debug. As usual, I need to give the name for this. So let me give the name B3. Okay. Now here you can see all the categories available in a debug log, right? So as I mentioned, the debug log consists in database operation, the workflow, the validations, HTTP callout, the Apex code, Visual Force, and the system operations, right? And then there is the next column which is telling us what kind of label we wanted to set for each different category. It is not necessary you're supposed to set the same category for all, same level for all the category. You can pick and choose what type of label you wanted to set for the particular operation. For example, if the current code doesn't having any database operation, I can simply go ahead and select the none. So it will not print the debug level. But I know there are the certain debug database operation, and I wanted to see the information about that. Simply I go and click on info. So it will capture on the right hand side. You will see what all events I'm capturing under this. So it's saying it will capture when the SQL execution has been begun, when it is end, right? Then query mode transaction, DML, when the DML has been begun, when the DML has been end. So it capture all the information and give it to you. Similarly for the same for the workflow, same for the call out, same for the debug. So very interesting thing to see here. If you see, if I change the logging label, it will change the text from the event, what kind of event it is capturing. If I select none, it will simply eliminate all the events from it. If I select error, it will put some error, what kind of logging label it is going to capture. Whether it's a user debug error, it's a fatal error, it's a push notification error, or anything else. If I put warning, it is going to capture the warnings along with the error, right? If I select the info, it is going to have the error plus warning plus additional information it is going to capture. Similar like the session cache memory usage, or you can say, or cache get in, or there are the certain events is going to capture. If I put the debug, it is going to have further things like the email queue or memory usage and anything, right? So these all the logging level which we can identify based on the code which we wanted to debug. Okay, so let me put it to the debug. Okay, uh, and let me save it as it is. So we have created a debug label, what kind of debug we wanted to print, and I'm simply going ahead and click on save to enable my debug logs. Click on save. Okay, so here is the available debug log I have selected. Click on save, and you can see the debug log has been set up, requested by Apex our user, what kind of log type, when it is going to start, sorry, when it is going to start, and when it is going to end, and what kind of a label we have set up over here. Now let's go ahead and simply execute anonymous, right? Or to simply execute this code, which will help us to see the debug log. Let me go ahead, right? This is our class to print method. I go ahead and click on execute, hoping that it has generated some logs over here. Let me refresh this. Yep, you can see the log file has been generated. You can, so there are the operation. Either you can view, download, or delete this. The user, in which context this operation has been performed. What type of request? It's an API request. Application is unknown. Operation, what API I have executed? It's execute anonymous API. Status is a successful error or something. How much time it has to? What is the size of a log file? And what is the start time? So let's go ahead and click on view and try to decode our message. Yeah. Here you can see all the debug logs. So on top of the same information it is going to print over here, and from here, from the logs keyword, it start with actual debug log. Okay, so you can see, let me little bit zoom it so are able to do it. Yeah, here we go. So here you can see, look at this statement. It's saying that at 18.56 minutes have entered, the system has entered into the system performed the method entry for my debug printer, right? Then again there is a method entry for the do debug printer. This is a constructor call. my debug printer where this is method call. Then there is a statement which has executed use debug at the line number 7, which is the debug, and it is showing this is my first class using VS Code, right? And then you are seeing the statement called as a method exit, right? So this is from where we have exit from. Our call is exit from do print method. Again, very interesting thing after that you have to see, and which is very useful for every Apex developer, the limit usage. As you know, the Salesforce is built on a multi-line architecture. It has a certain limit uh, for execution, right? So based on those limit, it shows some data in your debug log. It shows how much limit has been used by your code in that particular instance, right? So when I say number of SQL, so I have the limit of the 100 SQL in particular context. So it is showing the 0. So if it's a 99, then there is a problem. Then now I'm only away from the 1 SQL limit. So basis on this, I can modify my code and make it more robust and making sure it will not hit the limits, right? That is why the debugs are very important. So this is the one way which we have saw how we can debug the things from directly opening the log file. There is another option, okay, which is called as developer console. There is a tab called as a developer log, which will help you to open the logs which has been generated. You can see the similar type of operation over here, the username, the application, the operations, right? It shows whether you have read or not that particular debug log. If you double click on this, it will open a raw log file for you, right? But there are the few things which will really helpful to when you are going through this debug log, right? So there are all the operations it is going to show, right? But if I wanted to go just for the debug operations, I simply click on a debug and it will simply show me, filter out all the logs and show me the debug information. Here is a text basis. If you put any text over here, it will help you to filter out this data over there. So if I put VS Code, it is going to show me the text which contain the text as the VS Code, right? There are more options available here when you are executing a debug log. We are going to show that when we are going to see this into the trigger session, what other options are available in the debug logs and with the developer console. So with this, let me go back to my session, PPT. Okay, so with this, we are about to conclude our session over here for the all the tools which we have seen. So we have seen, to summarize this, we have seen developer console, we have seen how to use the execute workbench and execute the particular commands or the API. We have seen how we can set up and use the VS Code to create a new classes and execute the SQL queries. Again, we move ahead and further we have saw that um, how we can set up a debug log and how we can decode a particular debug message to identify what system is trying to tell you from the debug log, right? And there are the few Trailhead models around this, which we have put it into the PPT, which you can use to uh, try out and learn more the things. There are some additional reference. You can go through all these reference. It contains the links for the installing JDK. It contains a link for how to install the Salesforce CLI, and it also has the link for the installing a VS Code and the Salesforce extension. And there is now the time for the assignment for the day 3. So yesterday, the Jigger gives the assignment where we have created the math calculator, right? So now we're going to extend that class with the further assignment. So what you need to do in this assignment, you are supposed to install the VS Code on your local machine along with the Salesforce extension. You're supposed to create a project for assignment you created yesterday, right? Then fetch your math calculator class over here in a VS Code on your local machine. Then you are supposed to add another method in your math calculator called as the subtract. Basically, this method will accept a two integer parameter and give the return as a subtraction of these two parameter. Then you're going to save these changes on your local machine, and similarly you're going to push these changes to your Salesforce, right? Uh, with this, we are about to end our session. I am sure there are the few questions for the audience. So, Jigar, can we look at this question?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you, Purushottam, for that wonderful session. There definitely are a lot of questions. Most of them have been answered, but there were just, I think, last two, which I think people brought up. One was there was a question around, can you please show us a couple of VS commands used for project creation one more time?
Okay.
So if you could just quickly go over that in a couple of seconds, that'd be great.
Okay, sure. Let me go back to my VS Code. I'm sure you're able to see my screen. Okay. Let me close this project. I'll create this project quickly so you can get a quick understanding how we are going ahead and creating this project. So there are the shortcuts available. Command palette. You have to simply click on Control Shift P. It will open the command palette. Again, this option also available from here, from the view menu bar, command palette. Click on this. Then there are the SFDX command called as SFDX. Sorry for that. SFDX colon. These are all available commands which we can execute over here. So to create a project, there are the two type of commands available, but we'll select the option as create project with the manifest. Then it will ask you for the project name. Let me give the demo 2 and just click on enter. Then after entering the project name, it will ask you to select the folder in which you wanted to create this project, right? You create the folder and it will start creating a project for you. Once you create the project, you need to connect this project with your Salesforce, right? So for that, there is a command which we need to execute. Again, we'll go to the command palette and just type sfdx colon authorize an or. Click on this. It will ask you for the which type of instance you wanted to connect with. It's a production or sandbox. You can simply select the production. You can give the alias over here, or it will start creating, authorizing your Salesforce. It will open up the browser, which allows you to enter your auth credential. Just click on it, simply click on a login, and it will start the authenticating your auth. If you already allow, whenever you do it for the first time, it will show you the window which asks you for the allow access. For the next time, it will not show you that window, but simply you can see the message, the success message over here on your VS Code, and your org has been set up. You can see all the folders are here, the classes folder and everything else there. Then now, very next thing we need to do, go to the package.xml, simply right click on this and retrieve all the sources from your org. Just click on this, it will start retrieving the code from your Salesforce org. Perfect. Once the code is ready, you can find that code under the classes over here. Now, if you wanted to go ahead and create a new class over here, again, to do this, again, we go to the same place, that is a command palette. We'll go to the command palette. We'll click on a command called as create apex class. Okay, enter the name of the class, demo class, let's say. Click the enter, select a directory where you wanted to put it, and it will start creating a class for you. Right here, class has been created. Put your code over here. Simply right click on this, and there is a command called deploy this source to the org, right? So whenever you click on a save, the changes has been saved to the locally, not on a Salesforce org. Whenever you run this command, deploy command, it will deploy the changes from your local machine to a Salesforce. On successful run of this command, your code has been deployed to Salesforce. So this is what we'll do end-to-end steps to create a project, create a class, and write your code in that class. Over to you, Jigar.
All right. I think we'll take one last question.
So here, I'm sorry to disturb you, Jigar. So Pushottam, I will also add one point here. So we are doing the coding here, and the good thing is that like VS Code have lots of other advantage. Like VS Code provide lots of other plugin which you can install, like Apex PMD. So if you do that, if you're writing any code, or like if you're using like SQL inside a for loop and all, I know you guys are not aware about all those governor limit and best practice, but we will talk about that in upcoming session. So if you click here, install it. So if your code have a bad naming convention, you are not following best practice and everything, so this Apex PMD plugin will be help you in that and will be show you warning, okay, this is something you are missing. So while you are doing your code, there might be some issues are there. So before the code review and everything, it will be help you in that. So you can install this one and do it. And there are lots of other plugins are also available in VS Code, like Apex formatting and all. So you don't need to spend lots of time to do the coding formatting manually, but you can directly install it and you use it. And can you type Apex Replay Debugger? So there is also another plugin called Apex Replay Debugger. Can you click there? So you can install it, and somebody asked like how we can add the checkpoint and everything over there. So this is the like another plugin like you can install and do the checkpoint over there. So this is, I will recommend, this will be part of your assignment. I will say like not for contest, but I will say just explore all other plugins over here. There are plenty of good plugins are here, especially for JavaScript and everything. So you can install and take in advantage of it. So that's the best part of the VS Code.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
that's
Jigar.
very
Sorry.
valid point. Thank you, Amit. Thank you for bringing this up.
Uh, just one other thing, Purushottam, can you open up the link and show everybody where is it that people can go and install VS Code from? Because I think there are quite a few questions around that.
Okay, let me go back
Even
to.
let me do also one thing. I will update this blog post and will add all the link in the blog post, so everyone will be able to find the link from there.
Yep.
Okay.
So here is the link which everyone can follow to go ahead and install the VS Code and the extension. So we are going to post this into the PPT as well as Amit rightly mentioned. We are going to post it in a blog, so it will be available for everyone.
Okay. I think we'll call it a day. I know there are quite a few questions, but you guys can. I'd request you to post all your questions on our website, which is apexhour.com, which is right there on the screen in front of you. For people who were not able to get through and get access to our YouTube channel, the link is right in front of you. At the very least, you can simply do a print screen or take a snapshot, or the easiest way is go to the YouTube and search for Apex Hours in the YouTube search window, and our channel should pop up, and hit the subscribe button there, so that every time a new video is added, so let's say the video for today's session is added, you will automatically get a notification, and you will know about the new content that is put up there. So thank you once again. We really appreciate everyone joining in from different time zones, and being so patient throughout the session, and being so energetic and enthusiastic about asking questions and learning. That's what these sessions are for. Thank you, Purushottam, for hosting such a wonderful session, and taking us through some of these concepts in detail. And Thank you to all the other Apex Hours team members who are on the call, and Amit Singh, Amit Chaudhary, Jay, Saket. You guys have done a phenomenal job answering questions. So thank you, and we will be back again tomorrow for yet another exciting session. So guys, stay tuned. Please do not miss our session. Tomorrow's session is going to be an advanced concept, and it's going to be equally exciting. And we have another new speaker who's going to be talking about that concepts. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Stay safe and have a good day. Bye-bye.